So I think I'll take a crack at this pedal assembly today. It's pretty rusted up. There's a pin here where the clutch pedal attaches to the shaft. You gotta get that pin out, and there's different discussions about how to get it out. Punch it out, drill it out. It'll come out, and then there's a circlip behind there, and then that should release the brake pedal. And it looks like another pin here on the throttle pivot that's got to come out. Once all the other stuff is off the shaft, the clutch shaft should pull out this way. You can get these rebuilt, but it's actually several $100s by the time you get done doing everything. So I figure I'll take a stab at it. Try to figure out a way to put a grease fitting into it. That's what I did on my bus. That way, you keep it freer longer. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get into it. I'll turn the camera back on when I make some notable progress. So I've made a little progress. I've started actually to take the accelerator pedal pin out. So it's this pin here. It's pressed in from left to right. I was able to get it to move just by tapping on it with a hammer, and I put my other big hammer on the other side of this bracket just to give it something to work against. So I got that moving, so now I'm going to take it the rest of the way out, and that'll give me better access to get that pin on the clutch cable. And there we have it. The accelerator pedal is removed. So now, get the drill out, because I've already tried tapping on this pin and it isn't budging. I'm going to take the drill, I'm just going to open up. That might be peened over. I mean, I think it would almost have to be, otherwise it would just fall out while you're driving. So I'm going to just drill it a little bit and see if I can get it, reduce the head size, and then I'm going to punch it and hopefully it'll move. And if it doesn't, I'll just drill it all the way through. We'll get it one way or the other. Alright, so I've got the head of that drilled out, and now I'm going to put the punch to it and see if we can drive it the rest of the way. You can see there's a little bit of it sticking out on the back side there, and it was flush on this side. I'm not really sure which way it was supposed to go, but I think I can push it straight through. I'm going to hammer on it on this side and get it to pop out the back. So it didn't work driving it, so I drilled it a little bit deeper on the front side, and I drilled it, I can't really see, I drilled it deeper on the back side there, and I think I can see it moving on the shaft now. I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have to just twist it off now that I've drilled out the rivet deep enough. It should just kind of work off that shaft. It's just rusted on. Okay, back in a minute. Well, that clutch pedal is really frozen onto the shaft. I've got it soaking. I've been beating on it for a bit, and I can't get it to budge. So I've got it up here vertical, and the backside filled with the this stuff, which is great. PB Blaster. Check that stuff out. So I'm going to let that soak for a bit. In the meantime, I thought I'd try to get the accelerator pedal linkage. I saw it wiggling a little bit, and there was a pin right here, and it very easily drove out. Here it is in my hand, so it came out from the bottom. So if you're taking one of these apart, start on the brake pedal side and just drive it. If it was installed in the car, it would be drive it to the right, in this case down, and pin came right out. Now let's see if this will come right out. Yeah, okay, so there it is, and boy, is that ugly. And I think it's all, well, I can't tell if it's really bent or not. I think it may be bent. It may be twisted. I guess we'll see when we put it all back together, when everything is free, we can unbend it if necessary. Cool. Well, all right, little progress. Keep working on that clutch pedal now. Well, while we're waiting on that clutch shaft to soak and magically loosen up overnight. I just cleaned up the pins and the pivots on the accelerator linkage just to get a, now that everything is moving, I wanted to see if it was bent up. So kind of see, it looks, I'd say for sure she's bent, because I mean, that doesn't look like that's, that wheel's axle's bent like that. It should be straight, and the, looks like probably the bracket is bent because there's all kinds of crap down here in the pivot, so you can't get full throttle. You just push a little harder, push a little harder, push a little harder until something bends. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and unbend it. What the hell? I got nothing to lose. All right, I think that's better. If I just push on the linkage here, it rolls from one side to the other, stays on the roller. I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. That's good enough for now. Oh, let's check in on that clutch lever. It'll probably be 2 days from now I'll get that off, and I'll probably have to use heat. That'll be fun. Well, back in the engine compartment, you remember I had the spark plugs out in order to spray some penetrating oil down there and free up the engine. Success. But then I confessed that I didn't pay attention to which wire came off of which spark plug. So I got that sorted out. Firing order 1432. 1 and 3 are the front cylinders, 1 being on the right, 3 being on the left. And then 4 and 2 are the rears, 2 on the right, 4 on the left. And this is the number 1 spark plug wire. And it's something cool I kind of noticed here when I was tracing the wires. Oh, maybe you can see it. There's an inductive pickup attached. You can just see it there. Kind of wrapped around the number 1 plug wire, an inductive pickup. Well, that's strange. My first thought was, well, maybe somebody put an aftermarket tachometer on the car. There was no evidence of it in the dash, but who knows. I followed the wire, and it ends up in this white box up here, which I guess is some kind of a diagnostic plug. So there's probably no functional reason it has a inductive pickup. But if you were doing, timing check or something, probably the VW dealer has had a tool that would plug into there. Kind of a neat discovery. Well, anyway, I got the plug wires kind of laying where they belong now, so they can be properly reinstalled in the correct hole. I'll have to jack the engine up again. I had to jack it up to get the plug out because of that busted frame horn. So I'll probably tinker around with that. I was thinking I'd get it fired up today, but maybe not. I gotta think of a good, safe way to get gas to the fuel pump. I was thinking about taking the gas tank off of one of the motorcycles and setting it up on the back and running a fuel hose down to it. We'll see. I got a lot to do today, so if I get around to it, I'll fire it up. If not, I got nothing but time. All right. I'll see you in a few. For fun, I'm just going to stick the phone behind the engine. In front of the engine, and see. I don't know what there is to see up there. Let's go for a. I can't really see now. It's down there. Back of the tin. I can't really see what the camera is seeing. Of some kind, probably some acorns of some kind. Well, that'll be fun to look at that and see what there is back there. Curious if there is an extra key hidden in front of the engine. I have heard that was the case, and I had a 60 bug that had a key hidden in front of the engine. I just assumed it was the previous owner's hiding place, but then I heard it was a factory thing. So I don't think this engine's ever been out. It'll be interesting to see what's back there.